just tuned in to NNUTS podcast. Yeah, that's right, NNUTS. Nothing new under the sun. So make sure you tune in, because this is where it's at. You don't want to miss it. You hear me? Let's go. Into the UTS. Into the UTS. Into the UTS. Into the UTS. Nothing new under the sun. Yeah, we're the best. Into the UTS. Into the UTS. Into the UTS.
What's up, this your boy Brian, and I'm back like I never left. I got my next episode of Nothing New Under the Sun, and I got a very special guest. Everybody please welcome my mother, Jacquelyn. Hey, ma.
Hey, babe.
How you doing?
I'm good. I'm excited.
All right, so it's your first time on the podcast. I just go over some things. It's real informal. We just going to talk, and you just going to let it shine in front of the camera. I know you can shine because she the reason why I'm here, right? Mm-hmm. So I'm going to kick this off with the question that everybody always asks me. How did you do it? 3 kids, 18. How'd you do it?
Wasn't easy. A lot of help from the Lord. A lot of help from God. A lot of not wanting my children to have children young. Yes.
No, ma. So, like, everybody always asks me, like, what's the recipe? Like, when they say, like, you know, when I tell them my mom was 15 when she had me, I'm the second oldest. And they really want to know, like, how did you manage to do all that before, have 2 kids before you could legally work 40 hours in a week? Like, how, when you say, when I'm asking you how you I want you to pull it together for me. I want you to say, you know, your support system, your support. I understand God, because you brought us up understanding the word. You didn't force us the word. You didn't force the word on us, but you made sure that we understood the importance of the word. Like just give us some real, like, how did you see it as it happened in real life?
Well, to me, it was a lot about my mother. My mother had 11 children, and at one time, 8 of us was all living in the house. And here I am, a young person, having children, and I'm thinking I'm bringing all this responsibility, more responsibility on my mother. And I watched her be the fabulous lady that she is and do the things that she did, very successful. So I had to woman up. I had to make a decision when I was 14 what I was going to do. I asked my uncle, Sonny Man in Flint, to take my oldest daughter, LaShonda, when she was about 3 months old, after I realized that she wasn't a doll. She was so pretty, and after 3 months she was still there, and I'm like, wow, this is serious. So I called Sonny Man and Enzor, will you take her and raise her? And they said yes, they would be glad to do it. So then I thought about it. My mother didn't raise all her children. Her older children were kind of jealous of the ones that she raised. Maybe not jealous, or, you know, they had some feelings about that. So I thought, I can't do that. I have to become a woman and accept responsibility and get on the grind. And that's what I did. I worked. And I watch successful people, and I pray a lot.
Now, one of the things that I tell everybody and anybody who listens to me when I explain my mom, like I said, a young lady with 3 kids. You never gave up on your kids. You never, where we're from and what we've seen in life, you always told us we had a future. You always told us that, you know, that life was bigger than where we was at this time. Now, like, how did you know that message was important?
Well, I knew that message was important because of my life. Here I am, 14, 15, watching my schoolmates, because we lived a half a block from the school, walking to the school playing while I'm sitting there holding kids and things. And so I said, okay, they didn't ask to be here, and they were a blessing to me from God. You had women who were educated, all this, and they couldn't even have babies. But God gave me these children, and it was my responsibility to raise them in the best way I could, and that incorporated Jesus Christ in there. And what I do, as we were growing up together, you know your children. You know which one you can give a spanking or a whooping, which one have to get a punishment, what they hate, so on and so forth. So my mother was a very positive woman. I remember being about 12, and my mother ordered a course. It was called Think and Grow Rich. My mom paid $1,000 for that course. We was like, wow, Mama, $1,000. But I watched her, and I watched her very closely. And so she helped me be positive. So in that way, I ordered many positive, at this time it was cassettes, and in my Bible cassettes and that. And so when it was time to chastise, a lot of times I say, okay, you listen to this positive thinking tape, you listen to this Bible tape, and write me an essay. And honestly, I did not read them all, but I knew I couldn't be there with my kids 24/7, and they was going to grow up. And I knew that God's word would not return void. And I didn't want to let my mother down, and I wanted successful children.
Okay, so your mom had eight children living in the same house, and you added 2 kind of quickly. How did that look? Like, how did your mom? What did she say when you brought them home? Like, I love my grandma. Everything that I hear about my grandmother and how she ran her household and how she was, it was different because she was just to me my grandma. But like, how in the world how did that mash? How did you? And then when after it's a double tone. It's a double tone question. It's a double. So even after you brought them home, like, how was the support? Was your mom how did it all work out for you?
Okay, I got to put this in there. My mother is the one that told me I was pregnant. I didn't know I was pregnant. And she just loved me so much. We were very, very close, and I was down for her. She was like my everything and all. But she was a mother like this. She wasn't going to let me run the street or anything like that. She would babysit every now and again. But I stayed in school. I had to go to the pregnant school, the youngest girl ever at the pregnant school in my town. But my mother was totally supportive, and she never, even when I had the second kid, she was very happy because she wanted Mr. Brian Keith Clancy. She was always supportive of me. She never dogged me out. She never said negative things to me. She just supported me. And with that first kid, my oldest daughter, I would hold her and she would just cry and cry. And I went to my mama. I said, Mama, she don't like me. Mom was just, probably don't matter, but it mattered at the time to me. My mom was top heavy, but anyway, Mama, get the baby, get LaShonda, put her on her chest, and then LaShonda would stop crying. So Mom said, she knows that you're a kid. So I had to put 2 and 5 together, and that meant that I could not play with my children. So I wasn't a very affectionate mom. I wasn't. I was a very strict mother. What I said, I meant. And it was going to be that way, you know, and that's just what it was, and I was totally strict, and they'll tell you.
I'm going to go back into my childhood and bring something up that that I don't want to say it traumatized me, but it really drove something home in me, and I want your side of this perspective. Me and my older sister got into your makeup.
Yes, you did.
And when we got
I didn't. And as you see, I like my makeup. Okay.
And we got into your stuff, and you, in turn, disciplined us by breaking my favorite toy, which was my gun. You broke it right over your knee. And I think, did you cut Sean doll hair off or whatever? Like
her most special thing, I ruined that as well. I wanted y'all to feel how I felt. You know, that was hurting that you get in my makeup. And see, that's being young. But because I done that, and I think it was Sadie bought you that gun. It was a rifle, like, and I know I broke that and whatever I did to LaShonda stuff. But after that, you know, they respected my things and they respected them. Right?
I always respected my stuff, but like, you come up with that, like, so you just felt like take the most prized possession we had and did away with it, like.
Yeah, it's like the lesson that I had to give, I had to come strong, and I'm strong through my mother in Christ, but I had to come strong, and I figured if I done that, because that hurt. I didn't have money to go buy it all over again. I was in my very first apartment, 17, so you got to furnish your apartment, you got to do this, you got to do that, and then they go and just come, they play it all up, they was all made up and things.
I think my sister made me up. I don't know how that worked, but I know that I got it. Now, you think that would be considered abuse today?
Well, I can say this. I hope y'all forgave me, and I think I'm glad y'all forgave me. And would it be abuse today? I think not. I don't think it would be abuse today. It's not like I took it and beat you over the head with it or made y'all bleed or anything. I just taught you a serious lesson. Respect people's things, and that was fair.
Respect people's things, and that was fair. Like that is a lesson that I don't. Like I said, you were 15, so I was 2, but I remember it like for real. She broke my gun. But said, and a lot of things in the world and the whole podcast is about ain't nothing new under the sun, and how the stuff from your past is just everything in the past. Everything new is just a remake of the stuff that's in the past. So in this day and age, how do you feel like you would get to kids that have all this stuff that might not necessarily have a favorite?
Well, this comes to mind, and I'll never forget this. As you was growing up, you guys had lots of friends, and especially you. I didn't let y'all bring people to the house. I didn't go for that. Just a few. I had my picks that y'all could bring over. But as Brian began to grow, me and him talked more than the other ones did. And he come home, he say, "Mom, now here's." I'm gonna leave him name as such and such, but the mother was on the school board, the daddy was all this, and they were older people like they should have been when they had kids. But Brian, Mr. Bruce now.
I know what you're saying. I know exactly what you're saying.
So Brian noticed that the children that had 2 parents, how irresponsible they were. You noticed that at a very young age, Brian, and a lot of them were still irresponsible. They ain't doing nothing. And you guys y'all making it work. Y'all making it happen.